So
That's on him. That's kind of on him.
yeah, so I got to take that with me. To, I guess, round out our sports segment a little bit before we get a little dabble into what we do musically in the future is we do not have any interviews today or reviews, but the rap jury will be back. I do want to talk a little bit about
Here we go.
the backyard brawl. To me, one of the most important college football games, not just in this region, to me in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people underestimate the backyard brawl. They don't look at it as Michigan, Ohio State, or Auburn, Alabama, or some of the other really big rivalry games in basketball or football in the country. But to me, Pitt, West Virginia matters more than Pitt, Penn State.
Yeah.
And for West Virginia, I think it matters more than West Virginia and Virginia Tech, where West Virginia does play Virginia Tech for the Black Cole Trophy in a few weeks, which I do think is one of the cooler trophies in college football. But I think it just matters a lot more for this region. Like, this region, no matter what we want to say about West Virginia as a state, the University of West Virginia is literally on the border of Pennsylvania. It is 75 miles. It could take maybe an hour, hour and a half to get down there. These schools are two of the closest Division I schools in the country.
Yeah.
If you are a local player, if you didn't go to Pitt, you probably went to West Virginia, and vice versa. Like, this is how real this rivalry is. There's kids on both sides of the line in every game. There are kids that played together in high school that end up on both teams, playing against each other in this rivalry. People hate each other. There are kids that have been playing each other since twerps that are playing against each other in West Virginia and Pitt. And they were getting to experience this for the first time. The real thing I'd say is the difference between Pitt, West Virginia, and Pitt, Penn State is Penn State thinks they're better than Pitt. It's just they look at us as just a small school. We don't matter. If you even look how James Franklin treated the last time Pitt and Penn State played those last 4 years, a few years ago, he treated it like it wasn't a rivalry, like it wasn't important.
Damn.
Where Pitt, West Virginia is, to me, it's two teams of blue-collar communities. Even though West Virginia is a little more country and out there, these are the steel workers and the coal miners.
Yeah.
It's the Monongah River, it's I-79, it's all that. Again, it doesn't take much to get in between both cities. The only difference is one city is in the middle, one campus is in the middle of the mountains, and one campus is in the middle of a city. And I tell everybody, if you take out the center of Pittsburgh and like the surrounding suburbs of Pittsburgh, like maybe McKees Rocks, Upper St. Clair, like places like that, once you get past like Finleyville, or basically Finleyville in the south, or Murraysville in the east, or just the Beaver County line in general in the west, you're in West Virginia. Y'all can talk about it how y'all want. You don't got to get all the way down to the line to get to West Virginia. You get to Monongahela, Denora,
Damn.
Rochester, Newcastle. Those are some country ass places. People talk different. Like, y'all talk about Pittsburgh East. There's a what we call Pennsyltucky. There's a Pennsyltucky,
West Pennsyltucky.
West Pennsyltucky, if you want to call it that. Like, no matter what you want to say, there's a difference between living in the city of Pittsburgh and living, I would say, outside of the suburbs of Pittsburgh. Like, once you get out there and you see farmland, it's West Virginia. So that's where I'm like, I agree with them. If you go look up the article, Mark Bolger, Central Catholic, West Virginia, and Rams quarterback. I'll call him a legend for Central Catholic and West Virginia. I'll call him a quarterback for the Rams. But he said it right. He doesn't understand. He went to Central Catholic, meaning he went to the most white Pittsburgh school in the region. Like, it's the most white school in Pittsburgh. Like, it doesn't get whiter than that. It's Central Catholic in the heart of Oakland. And then he went to West Virginia because Pitt didn't think he was good enough. So I'm like, he would probably know better than anybody the differences between the center of Pittsburgh and being out in Morgantown, West Virginia.
Yeah.
I did send the picture out. I want to get a full poll. All three of us are in consensus. We have a picture that Malachi has that I want him to post, or at least put in the picture somewhere. We're going to have a poll. I have a picture from 1937 Backyard Brawl. It's the old Mountaineer and somebody who we believe is in a actual Panther skin costume. Like, this shit's a real Panther skin. We want to get a poll up. Who thinks that motherfucker was wearing a actual dead Panther pelt on his body? And, yeah. So please check that out. It's kind of a little disturbing, but I think because of the teeth, that thing is real.
That shit's real. That shit's fucking real. You know that's real. You make that decision, though.
So, I mean, how do y'all feel? Like, I look at Pitt's rivals as Pitt, West Virginia, Pitt, Penn State, Pitt, Temple a little bit, And then I guess you could count like Pitt Notre Dame. Pitt Notre Dame is usually a big matter to people when Pitt Notre Dame get together. And then I guess basketball wise, Syracuse has kind of been there since we went to the ACC. So, but I'm like, I look at West Virginia as the
West
team
Virginia
that
is
matters to us.
pretty much.
Penn State. It was like my top 2 rivalries.
Yeah.
And then looking at this
State
week,
versus City always.
and then this week, shout out to Pitt. We get the Johnny Majors Classic. Pitt will be unveiling a bust of Johnny Majors, the head coach of last Pitt's national title team, the Tony Dorsett title team. He also, I don't know, this is always one of my favorite stories in college football because this is how shady things can be, even though shout out to Johnny Majors because he was our last coach. The year he won the national title with Pitt, he left and went to the University of Tennessee. Johnny Majors, till the day he died, admitted that after he left that he should have stayed at the University of Pittsburgh, and I think they would have won more national titles. Saying that he went to Tennessee, had moderate success, didn't get a title, but he was decent. And that's why this week we played the University of Tennessee, and we will be unveiling a bust of Johnny Majors, the 2 schools that are playing against each other that had the biggest impact in his career and his legacy. So I do think that is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. We beat Tennessee last year in Knoxville. It was Pitt's first win against an SEC school, and I do believe if Pitt can beat Tennessee before going into their last 2 non-conference games, which is Western Michigan and Rhode Island. They lost to Western Michigan last year, so don't sleep on Western Michigan, and they're going to Western Michigan this year. Do not know why I would schedule that. But we do have Rhode Island. Forget what the fuck the name of the Rhode Island team is. And then we get into conference play. If they can get 4-0 out of conference play, they can have a legitimate chance at the ACC title.
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to get a Final Four nod. I don't think they're that good. I would not want to see the University of Pittsburgh play at Alabama or Georgia. Mm-hmm. I think it will end up the same way it ended for Cincinnati last year playing against Alabama. It's not going to be – I just don't think we're that good.
I mean, they got to really work on that. The line, they were folding pretty easy on West Virginia. And
West Virginia had a unique thing going for them. They had they have a freshman tight end that they were putting in as running back who's huge.
Okay.
Like, I think it was number 12, I forget what his name is, but they were basically, the coach, I was listening on the broadcast, basically saying they're going to put this guy wherever they feel like he's going to need to be, but he's like a 6'6" tight end that's like 250.
Damn.
That they just like,
running back. Shit.
That they've been putting him in as running back. And I'm like,
ain't nobody taking.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you, like, that's almost 3 yards per carry no matter what, as long as he can move his legs.
He's got to just stretch his arms out. Damn. It's like,
so I'm like, I do agree with you, but I'm like, yeah, they're playing dirty pool a little bit here. So I'm like, but again, that's how this game is supposed to be. It's supposed to be, again, this is teams that hate each other. This is fan bases that hate each other. Not like, oh, we kind of dislike each other. Like, no, there were fights in the stadium all night. I don't know if everybody made it home.
That was the largest
attended sports crowd in Pittsburgh history.
I thought you weren't even allowed to have that many folks in there.
Standing room.
Okay, because there were people on the field too.
Well, they put them in the rotundas. They can stand on the rotundas and shit.
Oh shit.
So, and then the weirdest thing is, I think if you go in order, you don't even get to the Steelers until the 4th game. There's 2. It's a Pitt, West Virginia, Pitt, Penn State, and there's like a Pitt Fordham game from like 1930.
Damn.
That like
they got folks coming out then. Damn.
I was looking at that. Apparently, it was like both teams were in the top 10 of the country, which Fordham doesn't even play Division, or Fordham or whatever. It's I might be pronouncing wrong. They don't even play Division I football anymore.
They just want to come out for the mascot.
I mean,
they probably had an alligator or something, like a skin of an alligator. Shit.
For it to be the 3rd game, I don't know if it was Ford Field or the old Pitt Stadium.
Okay.
But like, where were all these people fucking at?
You saw that they were like hanging on the walls and shit, watching, and
Ford Field was not but so big. I played the old MLB game where they let you play in like old baseball fields. It was not that big. That's the only way I've seen Forbes Field. I've never seen it in this football form. And I mean, Pitt Stadium was kind of big. I mean, Malachi, you saw Pitt Stadium before it got closed, I'm assuming. It was a decently sized stadium. I'm not saying you probably couldn't have done that. But it was also all bleachers. Or was it like it was a bleachers or concrete seats? But it was all like one seating thing around. So it's a little, you could play with it. That's why Penn State can do what they do. Because they're like, we've had over 104,000 people. I'm like, but you have bleachers.
Yeah.
So basically you're like, we let all these people in. But how many people really got to sit in the actual seat?
Oh, no.
Because I'm not like, bleacher seats is rough if the stadium's packed, bro. You on each other.
Yeah.
There's no personal space. COVID be damned.
And if it's hot, shit, that'd be real bad.
Oh, you sticking people.
Yeah.
Like, you are sticking to people, and you know how people get in football games that don't want to wear shirts, but they want to wear spray paint.
Yeah, spray paint shit. Yeah, you sticking for real. Oh, damn.
So, and it's this time of year. Like in this region, it's either going to be a humid game or it's going to be raining. So, like you're going to get one or the other where somebody's going to stink. So,
Damn.